Greetings and salutations. Thank you for lending an ear to The Voice of the Times this Monday, May 24, 2021. For today's editorial, DepEd's pivot to quality deserves public support. In December 2019, the Department of Education, or DepEd, launched the Sulong Edukalidad program, pivoting its focus from access to quality. But soon after, the country was under lockdown because of the pandemic, and students had to carry on with virtual classes and alternative modes of learning. For this coming school year and beyond, we hope the program can cover lost ground and move forward rapidly. That is a tall order, as they say, for DepEd, if not for the entire country. COVID-19 is unfavorable to quality, with many claiming virtual classes offer an inferior mode of learning. Indeed, the pandemic continues to exact a toll on the education sector and the rest of the economy. Despite the setback, DepEd seems to be forging ahead. Recently, Education Undersecretary Diosdado San Antonio said in a televised briefing they were now training teachers and tweaking the basic education curriculum to decongest it. It was a bit of a letdown, however, to hear Mr. San Antonio qualify the improvements were meant to enhance the system rather than to overhaul it. A pivot suggests changing direction. We hope DepEd is audacious enough, open to criticisms, but firm in its resolve to meaningfully pursue quality. Perhaps we should give Mr. San Antonio the benefit of the doubt. After all, DepEd's actions may be a better indicator of its intent. Note that it was the incumbent Education Secretary, Leonor Briones, who decided to take on the lofty goal of quality education, rather than carrying on business as usual. It was also the Secretary's decision to participate in the program for the International Student Assessment, or PISA, of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or OECD. She was criticized when the PISA results came out, showing our learners had tested poorly in math, science, and reading. To be fair, no other DepEd secretary before Briones had participated in OECD assessment. And on the bright side, knowing the problem is the first step in solving it. Before the incumbent leadership at DepEd, and even while it was transitioning to K-12, discourses on education still mentioned access a lot. It may reassure those concerned about that to hear that DepEd continues to build classrooms and address other gaps even as it shifts its priorities. In any case, access should be resolved by the government's voucher program. With it, poorer students can consider enrolling in private institutions, which eases the burden on crowded public schools. Also, the voucher program creates an environment of healthy competition between private and public schools. They are supposed to be working in tandem, although the complementary function, written in the 1987 Constitution, has yet to be fully realized. Regarding full measures, returning to quality, we hope DepEd will resist taking half measures. There may be pressure for it to do so, given change always encounters resistance. With DepEd moving forward, we hope it considers additional ideas. Consider replacing the modular style of education to one that caters to multiple intelligences. There is more than one way of learning, as the research and writings of Harvard professor Howard Gardner suggest. Another Harvard professor, the late Clayton Christensen, wrote in his critically acclaimed book, Disrupting Class, about incorporating software adapted to the theory of multiple intelligences to be incorporated in teaching. He explained it was not enough to supply classrooms with computers, which DepEd was busy doing before the pandemic. DepEd is undoubtedly aware of Professors Gardner and Christensen and their work, but some key policymakers may not be. Certainly, DepEd is cognizant of the disruptions occurring in education. In her 2019 speech, Mrs. Briones said, "We provide our learners with predetermined skills, but we don't even know what the world will demand and how the world will be like by 2030 or even in 2050. We don't know what skills people will need." Given that uncertainty, students should perhaps learn how to think, rather than what to think. If that is part of what DepEd means by pivoting to quality, then we are all for it, and so should everyone else. And that's the editorial for Monday, May 24, 2021. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print. Subscribe to our digital edition or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And listen to The Voice of the Times.